My name is David White, National Executive Director of SAG-AFTRA. I wish that I could be there with you today. We're so proud to host the second year of Icon MANN Sessions, where you're going to have a chance to talk with industry colleagues and hopefully with each other about the issue of inclusion and diversity.
True to what he's saying, has been such an advocate to what we're doing to positively improve the conversation as it pertains to Black men, especially in entertainment, but across all sectors. Right now, I think about 184 films for 2017 have been slated for release. Less than 10% of those are films by people of color.
We just try to find the common themes, no matter what color the people are in the films, and ultimately speak to that first.
But I will say that there are a lot of talented Black male actors that I do think are getting, starting to get their due, including Nate Parker and others. But it's something we have to pay attention to.
A lot of the talent that we're finding that's younger or that's diverse, Nate's a great example of this too. He spent 10 years raising money to try to make this movie instead of waiting for someone to finance it for him. So a lot of the talent that ultimately comes to us at a studio level is from someone who just said, you know what, I'm going to make something I believe in.
I don't think it's a coincidence that we talk about Michael B. Jordan, directed by Ryan Coogler. We talk about Nate Parker, directed by Denzel Washington. We talk about, you can go back to Denzel, Spike Lee, Wesley, Spike Lee. You know, it has to do with how people envision the world and how they want to tell their stories. I think that's a large part of it as well.
I was that little girl who only dreamed when I saw E.T. and Grease and Flashdance that I wanted to work in the movie business. And when I look at those movies, I know there's a little girl somewhere and a little boy who loves seeing Black women in these beautiful gowns. There's never been a movie like that.
If you don't see yourself in the culture, put yourself there. And sometimes, and what I would actually love to message to kids is, and we talked about this a little bit, sometimes you don't need to wait for the industry to accept you and to give you a path. The great thing about technology today is that the tools of filmmaking are in most kids' hands because most of them have one of these.
The real challenge, and I think potentially the beginning of an answer, is to sort of unpack what we're talking about when we talk about diversity and inclusion, really, and define it a lot more broadly. It's not just race, it's culture, again, it's socioeconomics, it's gender, it's experiential, it's sexual orientation, it's people with disabilities. It's all of those things.